Dear students, I want your full attention. I want your mental concentration. I want your full focus on what I teach you. I have many times given demonstration in written. I have found that a lot of you just listen to it. You see that, you don't pay attention to what I say. And today I'm going to use this opportunity to listen to what I say. What I want you to do is, you can use your paper and pen, but keep noting things, but understand this. Very important. The ones attending here can go and revise also. And I would like that you understand this because it is for everyone's benefit. See, story writing is one of the easiest tests, but there are a lot of misgivings, a lot of misunderstandings, and a lot of myth around it. Everybody thinks that story writing means something, we have to write like this, we have to write good qualities, we have to write this, we have to write that. No, cut that out. Today I'm going to clarify everything in a very simple and a nice term so that you can understand what this psychological test is all about. Why are we doing all this? Because I have seen lots of people coming up with different stories, somebody giving some theory, somebody giving some theory, and you are leaving your common sense, following them like today's Pandit gurus, people coming from these Kumbh, everybody you're following in spite of their mad practices. There are a lot of Naga Babas these days in the Kumbh who are coming with serpents, looking funny, and people are touching their feet. I'm not saying that they're wrong, they need to be worshipped, but blindly worship, not the part of this age and not for you guys. I'm sure that you may do it for that moment, but you will not keep it forever. So I want this lesson to be forever with you. Is it clear? Everyone? Okay. So now what we're going to talk about is, what is the story writing test about? What is this thematic apperception about? And what should be the modus operandi? I want you to write down, because I will be giving you instruction, writing nothing whatsoever, but making you understand. If you have doubts, you can question me in the class here. Otherwise also you can post your queries. Is it clear? I'm talking to all you guys also. All of you. Is it clear? Okay. Now we are going to talk about story writing. What is the benefit of story writing test? First understand this. Story writing helps us to express a complete thought. It gives us 3 minutes, 30 seconds to think and 3 minutes to write. So we are able to express a complete thought. And thus one can identify what kind of thoughts are regularly coming to us. Now you see a different picture. Yes, agreed. The picture will change the thought. Agreed. But is it focused to the picture? Or is it some mad thought which has come into your mind? There were students earlier who used to write good stories. And after writing good stories, they used to go and plant it in those 12 stories. And they never got selected. And this is the problem with many of you who are repeaters. You repeaters like to write stories for the sake of writing, and you land up writing stories which are not at all fit for you. You write and the psychologist itself can pick up the contradiction. Many a times when you will carry different shirts, suppose you carry shirts, shirt size or t-shirts or salwars or any other dresses which girls also wear, and you take that, there may be some people, it will not fit rightly. If it will fit, it will not fit as per the season. Now imagine that you have taken different salwars and you have given it to a person to wear it, and the person is living in hill station. Do you think that will be suitable enough? No, because they want to wear something more in addition to that salwar kurtas. Why do they need to wear that salwar kurta more than that? Because it is winter. They'll require a jacket, they'll require a sweater. Similarly, these dynamic changes are common as per the different pictures. So all of you who learn from different sources and go and write, and thereafter you think you will get selected, you are taking a chance, you are taking a gamble, and many a times you fail in that gamble. You know that in SSB around 20 people or maybe 40 people or maybe 120 people report, but only few are screened in, and out of those few, only 10%, 5% or less are recommended. Don't you find this equation very funny? Why? Because many of you have a tendency, which you have picked up in your schools, to copy stories and write them. You don't want to think on your own. You are afraid to think on your own. Wrong. You should trust yourself. Your self-confidence is very important. You should trust yourself. You should think. Now let's come to this thematic apperception test and why it is being conducted. Now thematic apperception, as the word says, thematic. What kind of thought process is coming commonly this candidate? Everyone has a set thought of patterns. Yes, there are multiplicity of thoughts, yet there is a common theme. If you are a person who is extrovert and you get different situations, you will react differently. And if you are an introvert, you will react differently. Similarly, if you are used to working in a group, you will react differently. If you are working singularly, you will react differently. This is the funny part of your thought process. Many of you write stories as if it's an English test or a creative writing test, which is again wrong. Story writing is not creative writing or an English test. It is a psychological test. It is wanting you to express yourself. It is wanting you to write as per your previous observations, your past learnings, and the attitudes which you have developed. Mark my words, I repeat it. You are not supposed to write creative stories. You are not supposed to write only stories. You are supposed to write psychologically, opening your heart out. Now that means, yes, few of the stories will be creative. Agreed, I agree with that. But not all of them. Out of those 12, 7, 8 will reflect the kind of person you are, the kind of thought you have. And thus we will identify more about you. It doesn't stop there. You know that after this you will have a word association test where they will give you randomly some words and then they will ask you to write. Again, in that also they will identify. It doesn't stop there. Then they will give you SRT, situation reaction test. They will identify how will you react to different things. Now with all these 3 tests coming in, ending with the 4th test, self-description test, they'll get a complete picture of kind of person you are to a certain extent. The verification will later be done by the interviewing officer, who will identify what kind of person you really are. And when that will happen, last but not the least, the GTO will identify how you behave with the group and what are the general qualities. When all these things will sum together in conference, decision will be taken in favor or against you. You may be a wonderful speaker, you may be a wonderful thinker, but you don't mix well with this society, then also you may face a rejection. So if you have the right balance, which the armed forces want, you are getting selected. Don't you forget that Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, APJ Abdul Kalam were not recommended. Why? They had made an attempt before. Okay, you may say their destiny called. Okay, done. But they had made an attempt for selection. Why didn't they get selected there? Because where APJ Abdul Kalam was quite an introvert and probably he is a wonderful thinker, wonderful person. But if you rightly can see, his way of presenting himself was unique, not standardized and as per norms. So it would have been very difficult to train him to become an armed forces officer on that point, because he had a very strong mind. And he was not able to connect with the group to that level at that point of time. We are talking about his ND entry. So what is very important is that he is a gem of a person, there is no doubt. You all are also gem of a person, there is no doubt. But when you want the selection, you have to understand that you have to express your set of qualities which shows adaptability, which shows effectiveness, which expresses you. Is it clear till now? Or you have doubts? Okay, let's go further. In thematic apperception test, they will show you 11 pictures with photographs inside, and the 12th, which is a blank, will be minus photograph. Why do they do that? Understand this very well. The moment you understand everything, you yourself will do it. How do you wear a pant and how do you wear a shirt? Differently. Why? Because you understand how to wear it. Similarly, if you do understand how the pictures are, what is the purpose of the pictures, I'm sure you will be able to express yourself better. You will stop playing stupid games which you do, because you copy every third guru. I'm not saying copy me. I don't want you to follow me. I want you to follow your logic. I want you to follow your common sense. I want you to follow your wisdom. I'm here not to educate you something extra. I'm here to spark your wisdom on. I'm here to guide you that till now you are not buffoons. You have cleared your 12th class minimum, or appeared in 12th class minimum. So in that case, you are not idiots. You are good enough people, and you have to carry this personality of yours positively. Just for the sake that I am lecturing, you're not going to follow me. You're going to follow my common sense. You're going to clear your doubts, erase your fears. I'm here to clarify that. Kill your fears. Make you confident of who you are, rather than become something which you don't want to be. And why are you copying something? Don't copy things. Create. You have the power to create. Write your stories. Let's understand. There will be a story where they will show you an accident. Why do they do that? Understand this? They will show you the story because they want to see how you will react to an accident. Will you panic? Will you overdo? Will you not read it? Like many times in our day-to-day society now, we see accidents and we say, oh, and we pass away. Or sometimes many funny teenagers make video of the same, but they don't go and help. Very sad if you remember that lately there was, due to the floods, a family was trapped in between, a video was made, but nobody dared to reach out with ropes or anything, and they did not react to that emergency in few minutes. All of them were looking and waiting for some God when none came, and those family was swept away in the flood. How sad. We don't want such characters. We want characters because we want to make an armed forces people. We want people who will protect the nation, who will serve the nation, who will love the nation, who will love the countrymen. So we don't want you to be sitting and standing and waiting for some miracle to happen. You are the person who is the Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, who's going to act. And we don't expect extreme things. We want you to just apply your basic bloody intelligence. Now somebody says, how could it have been happened? Come on, there were so many men standing. They could have taken the shirt out. All of them should have tied their shirt, and they could have created a semi-rope. Similarly, they could have stopped a vehicle nearby, picked up a rope. They could have tried something, but they made no trials. Very shameful. And as a result of which, what happened? Shameless act of theirs costed the life of who? All the family members. So we show you emergency to see how you will react. Do you again have that same tendency to watch a drama and do nothing about it? Or do you have the leadership to watch it, to go ahead, take initiative and resolve? Nothing is getting solved in this world all by itself. One has to go forward. One has to think, one has to plan, one has to organize. Whether it's a scooter accident, whether it's a car tonga accident, or whether it is a flood situation. So one emergency, they will see how your hero will react in it. So if your hero reacts rightly, in the sense, the hero comes forward, the hero has, number one, right emotions, comes forward, plans properly, gets people together and completes it. How simple. Now you say that should the hero single-handedly do it? Well, if the situation is simple, can do single-handedly, but if the situation is difficult, complicated, then they should garner resources. Now where are the resources? The resources are everywhere in the society. Today now in the class, n number of people sitting here, they are also resources. I am sure all of you will commonsensically and logically help in crisis. And provided if I request you, convince you, you will. Same thing. That is what we show you, an emergency situation where we want to see how you will do. How you will think. What governs a human mind? What governs? Their thinking process. Their attitudes. That governs. As I told you, in an accident, there are different thought processes which one person has. Why should I get trapped? My parents will scold me. No, these people, there is no point to get in. The police will disturb me. There may be some people who will say, if I say something, these days, that is what is very sad. One new sad thing is happening. Basically because of girls on great numbers have been reacting to nuisances. People have stopped helping even girls. Earlier, it was very common that if a girl met an accident, people used to come forward and help. But now they have started fearing. Very sad part in the society. They are fearing. Why should I help? Tomorrow she may say something. So the problem is there. But as an armed forces officer, we expect you to be class apart. We don't want you to be like those common men. We want you to be leaders by soul. That means you come forward and help them. So is this emergency thing clear to everyone? You may get emergencies of different pictures. You may find somebody drowning. You may find an accident. You may find some kind of picture showing some earthquake, showing some flood. In all of these situations, we expect an attitude of help coming forward from you. A sensitivity, empathy, more than the sympathy. If you are callous means insensitive in your mind, how will you connect with the family? You know, when you become a father, what is the biggest job which you do? You connect with the child. You care for the child. You protect the child. You support the child. And then what happens? A bond is created. Same thing when you become an officer, you will have to care for the soldier. You will have to support the soldier. You will have to help the soldier. You will have to instruct the soldier. And then the bond will be created. Nothing is ready-made. Nothing is ready-made. You have to create it. So how will you do that? By behaving responsible. By being sensitive to other person's need. If you say, not my problem, then what will happen? You will find that you will never gain the position of leadership ever. So what governs your mind to go forward and help the person? Your good nature, your good thinking, your leadership attitude. Leaders, good leader, again, please don't go by these political jargons of the kind of leaders which we have lately seen in Delhi or other places, where we find that they tend to talk. No, we are talking on genuine leaders. So if you want to be an officer, you have to be a genuine leader of the men. Trust me, even in the political circles also there are a lot of, arms available. these political heroes will also start behaving properly. In the armed forces, the arms are very much there. So if you do not behave nicely, what will happen? There will be a rebellion. And when there will be a rebellion, what will happen? Many people will become casualty, particularly the negative ones. So therefore, being a good soul is also important for your existence. Of course, for your goodness also, but also for your existence. Is it clear? Is this theme clear, what I am trying to tell all of you? That we are talking of an emergency kind of picture which you get. What should you do? There should be a character should be created. The character can have a name, may not have a name. You can say there was a boy, fine. You want to name the boy, name. If there was a girl, fine. You want to name the girl, name. And thereafter take your whole story. What is the first thing which you have to do while you see a situation? You are instructed by the psychologist to create a character. Because it is the character's behavior, character's thought process, character's reactions, and character's entire episode which will help the psychologist to identify your psychology. So if you don't create a character, you don't create a thinking process of character, if you don't create an acting process of the character, what will happen? They will not come to know. Some of you describe the picture that there are 4 people standing, 1 person standing here, 1 person. No. The psychologist strictly marks you that you don't have to describe the picture. You had done that mistake, if you rightly remember, that you have described that there is this person, that person, this, and there was less of problem. So they expect you, they clearly instruct you. You don't have to describe. You have to just create a character and write a story. What did he see? What did he think? What did he do? And what happened? I repeat, who was the character? What did he see? What did he think? What did he do? And what was the end result? Am I right? Now, when we are talking of this kind of thing, we can also decide that the story may have what parts? Number 1, observation and attitude, because if you observe an accident and you have a sense of responsibility or an attitude to solve it, then only you will take initiative. So once you have observed, had an attitude, and then comes initiative. Initiative means going forward and doing it. And once you have initiated, then when you will initiate, you will also have to create a plan, because everything has subparts. Every action has subparts. There are 1 part, 2 part, 3 part, 4 part. You have to think on that, and you have to sequence them also, which will be done first, second, third. So automatically you will have to say that you took the initiative, then you decided first I'll do this, then you realize this is required, and then you do all of them. If you think it requires more, it is natural for a team person, mark my words, team person, to think of helpingness from others. But the character who is not helpful by nature will never imagine others helping. Never. Human nature. But a person who is helpful in nature will presume that the bystanders will also come forward. It is natural. And it happens. And once you do the example of leadership, others follow through. Am I right? Yes or no?